on seeing Denver for a second time this weekend?
Yeah, no. Obviously, we saw them early in the year. It wasn't our best performance at home, but we're a much different team than we were in the first half, and yeah, looking forward to it. The other thing is that was our first off or open weekend, I should say, not having games last weekend, and I think it came at a good time, and now had a good week of practice. So yeah, looking forward to getting on a plane tomorrow and getting after it in Denver.
How's Gavin progressed? Gavin Haynes?
Oh, full go, 100%. He's been full go in practices from this Monday. Last week we had kind of a productive week, but some guys took some time to get healthy, and he was one of them. And since Monday, he's been in full practices here and doing every drill.
How
Yep.
about Jake Schmaltz's stats?
No, he will not be available. Jake will not be available this weekend, but I think he's getting close. I think he's getting really close. So.
Your guys' power play with this season, what has it meant for the team in offensive production?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's very impactful. I put power play and penalty kill together. I mean, if you're dominant in those areas, you have a good chance to win games. But especially offensively on the power play, if you're a threat, then I think it maybe backs off some teams about being aggressive and assertive. Knowing that if you got a good power play, the other team, I wouldn't say take liberties, but at the end of the day, they have to be probably more mindful and disciplined. And that kind of throws the other team off a bit. So, yeah, I think it's a situation where it's helped us. And you can really tell in games that we've won, it's not just scoring one goal, it's two or three. But again, I hand it to the guys that are on the ice, and Carl that does a great job with, making adjustments on the fly in games and being productive in that area.
When Reese is on the right side, what does he do well?
I think he becomes a shooting threat. He becomes a guy that not only can pick a spot like he did in Miami, but he's a guy that, if he's getting keyed on and they flex out on him a little bit, then he has different options going forward. And, the other guy on the other flank is pretty good too, as far as Jackson Blake on seeing the ice. And I think those guys are very smart players and adept in knowing when pressure's coming and when pressure's not coming. And that's the key of a power play, having good, smart players that can make plays.
Why does Christiander have so many power play points? What does he do?
Just smart, and he just distributes pucks. He gets shots to the net every now and then, but I think at the end of the day, like his feet are so good on the blue line, walking the blue line, bringing pressure, and when he brings pressure, then somebody else is open. And I think he's a guy that has really good hands, really good feet, and he's got really good hockey sense. Where you usually have to have that at the middle top of a power play, and he's done a really good job that way.
You guys had 40% of your power play missing on Saturday night in Miami with Hayden and Schmaltz off the top unit. You still went 4 for 8. Do you guys practice with different guys on units, or how do you?
100%, and how we do that too is Carl. Like I said, Carl does an outstanding job of making everybody ready. And what I mean by that is at the beginning of the year, we have 5 lines on our 15 forwards, 16 forwards, and everybody gets a crack at it early on. And by the time you get from September to October, then you get down to 2 or 3 units. But I think it's critical early in the season to give everybody the opportunity. And the other part is sitting in on power play meetings. It's just not the power play units; it's other guys sitting in there, so that when they do get their opportunity, they know what's going on. So, yeah, it's about preparation and then also practicing it too. And again, a lot of guys get looks on it.
What areas do you think your team is different than the last time you played Denver in early November?
Well, I think obviously defensively, I think that's one area where we've tightened up quite significantly. In the goaltending situation too over the last few weeks with Drew, playing a more consistent brand of hockey as well as us in front of him. I think that's probably the main thing. The other thing too is I think guys finding their roles, and guys. You're looking at some guys now that are, whether it's the third, fourth line, whatever they're finding and identifying their roles in what they were. And early in the year, we were kind of bouncing around a little bit.
Did you like that you had your bye week in February as opposed to sometime in the first half?
Yeah, you know what? It's not bad having one in the first half too, because it gives you a time to readjust and reset a little bit in the first half. I'm not opposed to that. It's just that we love playing games, and I think it's a situation in the first half where we have a Hall of Fame game in the last couple of years. That takes up a weekend where a lot of times teams are off that weekend. So for us, if we had to pick one weekend open, would be in the second half, because I think that's the time where you need it not only physically but mentally.
What were some of the points of emphasis you guys made during the off week, knowing that you
obviously had a lot of injuries, but what were the focuses in practice?
Well, keeping the foot on the gas, like playing an intense brand of hockey, playing, everything's in front of us right now. Obviously, we got a little bit of a step here to solidify home ice, but again, you can't get it unless you concentrate on the first game, and that's Friday night in Denver. And I think just keeping everything short term here, as far as remembering how we have to play, what's our identity, and just keeping our foot on the gas here of what gave us success.
And Denver's a really good and strong team at home. What do you hope to maybe expose in their game plan when you head over there?
Well, I think in taking charge of the first of all on Friday night, like don't worry about Saturday night, but taking charge right away and playing on our toes. Like I think it's a team. If you give them a lot of time and space and you play on your heels, they come at you. They got some pretty good players and some good offensive players, and I think it's a situation where ice is going to be critical as far as we want to take ice. We want to grasp and clutch and scratch for every inch of ice out there. And again, it's going to be a territorial game, and we want to make sure that we dictate the territory. Good. Thank you.